What's going on, people? LP2000 right back at you with another video. Yes, welcome back to Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews. On behalf of Summit Kaiju and on behalf of the awesome upcoming new collectible show, courtesy of the Kaiju Cast, Collect All Monsters. Yes, welcome back to another edition of Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews. And today we're doing not one, but a double X Plus figure review. Yes, yes, yes. And today we're doing a double figure review of unquestionably, two of the most iconic giant monsters of all time. Yes, yes, yes. And today we're taking a look at the X Plus standard edition of the Deforeal Kong 2017, based off his appearance in Kong Skull Island. Yes, yes, yes. And the most recently released 2019 Godzilla, based off his iconic appearance in the most recent Godzilla film, Godzilla King of the Monsters. And as you can see, yes, both of these figures are so awesome. And they're all little mini glory. Yes, they're Deforeals. They're smaller figures, but you know what? The detail is there that you will find in a gigantic, a 30 centimeter or 25 centimeter. Just because they're small, just because they're deformed, doesn't mean that the detail is not there, because the detail is there. And you know how we do things around here. Let's get into the boxes before we get into the figure. So let's get into the boxes. Let's first start off with Kong. And this is the box for Kong Skull Island, box with the window display. It has Kong Skull Island, whatever. It has some great artwork on the back of Kong fighting the Skullcrawler. Because, like I mentioned, this is the standard edition of Kong from the Deforeal line, courtesy of X Plus and Star Ace. Star Ace is distributing the product, while X Plus were the people responsible for creating the sculpt, painting it, building the figure. You just said X Plus built it, and Star Ace is selling it and distributing it. And once again, this is the standard. Now, the deluxe version comes with him fighting a Skullcrawler. As you can see in the back of the packaging, it has a picture of him in the midst of battle with the Skullcrawler, basically the final fight of the film, Kong Skull Island. But I decided to go for the standard with just Kong by himself, because I'm not really a big fan of the Skullcrawler. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a cool creature, but I view the Skullcrawlers like I view the Mutos. They're okay, but they're not high up on my list as far as like figures that I want to get. I'm sure at some point I will get a Skullcrawler. As a matter of fact, X Plus is going to be releasing a 30 centimeter Skullcrawler to go with their King Kong 2.0 figure that's coming out real soon. And maybe then I'll go after the Skullcrawler. But for the Deforeal, I was like, you know what? I'm fine with just Kong by himself. Originally, I was not going to get Kong. But since I was getting the Deforeal Godzilla 2019, I was like, you know what? I'll go after Kong. You know what I mean? More on that later. And here's the packaging for Godzilla. Yes, almost same type of display. Of course, it's bigger because, Godzilla is the bigger Deforeal of the two. And also comes with a great beam effect, signifying what happened in the film. So the packaging, is reflective of not only how big Godzilla is, but it's meant to also, house the beam effect as well. It has packaging, like I said, Deforeal X Plus Garage Toy. It has the Monsterverse logo, as well as the 65 years Shin Godzilla logo. And it has actually the Japanese, title of the film. I guess in Japan, they call it Godzilla 2. Whereas over here in the States, we call it Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla 2019, whatever. And that's basically it with the boxes, I love the packaging. I'm going to keep them, not going to trash them. Just great artwork on the boxes. Now let's talk about backstory with these figures. Kong was released, I want to say earlier this year, around mid-February, or March, something like that. And you would think, with me being a big Kong fan, that I would have gotten my hands on this figure a long time ago. I just got my hands on this recently around the same time that I got Godzilla. But once again, I'm really picky and choosy when it comes to Deforeals or Deforeals. Don't get me wrong, It's a great line. The figures are awesome, even though they're small, deformed. Like I said, the detail is there. But I'm really being picky and choosy with what I want to get from this line. I haven't gotten every single thing because some figures haven't spoke to me. But the ones that I do have spoke to me, or at least the movies that that those designs are from, I really like those movies, which is why I'm going after them. But for the longest time, I really didn't have any interest in Kong. Only recently, when I was thinking about the 2019 Deforeal, I was like, you know what? A Kong would go great with this Deforeal Godzilla. Anytime I get a chance to put Kong and Godzilla together, I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? Because I'm so hyped up for the new movie that's coming out in a few months. Hopefully we'll get a trailer real soon. Because so far we have gotten nothing, and it's getting kind of irritating. But you know what? Until then, I have these two and a couple of other Kong and Godzilla pieces to tie me over. But for the most part, like I said, I wasn't really interested in Kong. Only when I was getting Godzilla, I was like, you know what? I'll go after it. That way I compare these two together. And I want to give a huge shout out to Jason Willen from AwesomeCollector.com. I got this Kong through him. Thank you very much, sir, for the service. I really do appreciate it. I highly suggest everybody go after him. Talk to him if you want some great X Plus figures, or you want him to pre-order some new X Plus figures. Go to that awesome website, AwesomeCollector.com. This is one of my first purchases from him, and more likely it will not be the last. Great guy, great, awesome company, and awesome, great service. AwesomeCollector.com. It says it in the name, Awesome Collector, because he's an awesome guy. Now, once again, let's go over to Godzilla. Godzilla just got released, I want to say, late October 2019, going to November 2019. Of course, this is the standard. The rig comes with the exact same Godzilla with the beam effect, but it comes up with the light up feature where his dorsal plates and his beam will light up. Didn't really feel like going the extra mile or paying the extra money for the Rick. I was just fine getting the standard, and this really is a great piece. Once again, I'm not going after every single Deforeal, but the ones that I have gotten between Kong, the 2019 Godzilla, I got the GMK 62, 64, 84, the 98. Yes, I got the 98. It's a great figure. I'm happy with what I've gotten thus far. I'm looking forward to seeing what they have in the future, what's coming down the pipeline in the future, even though I do have a few pre-orders that I am getting from the Deforeal line, but I'll talk more about that towards the tail end of the video. So that's how I come into possession of these figures, you know. Like I said, Kong from Awesome Collector. And I got the Deforeal Godzilla from Hobby Search, which again, Hobby Search is such a great company. And I highly recommend you go after these two websites for your X Plus figure needs for pre-orders or already existing orders. Great, awesome websites. Great, awesome service. You can't go wrong with either one of those websites. Hobby Search and AwesomeCollector.com. And you know what? Let's focus on, which one should I start with first? Let's start with Kong. Yes, Kong is awesome. This sculpt is basically reminiscent of him fighting the Skullcrawler in the end. Like I said, with the deluxe version of this release, you actually have like a Skullcrawler that's like above him, and it comes with like a base where you can, I guess, attach the base to the Skullcrawler, or I guess attach a rod to the Skullcrawler to have him up in midair to simulate him being in midair. And have the rod attached to the base and have him hovering above Kong. Remember how that was in the film when Kong was fighting the Skullcrawler, and there's a moment in the film, there's a moment in the fight scene, I should say, where the Skullcrawler is up above him and Kong is looking up at him like this. So once again, not really feeling the Skullcrawler, which is why I opted to go for just Kong by himself. Kong does come with this awesome base. It has Kong Skull Island. You know, I don't really. I mean, it's nice to have it, but I'm not going to really put Kong on top of this because I'm pairing with this Kong with Godzilla, obviously. And if you put Kong on top of the base, he's around the same size as Godzilla. And for me being a traditionalist in a lot of respects, I just prefer Godzilla being the bigger monster of the two. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but when it comes to my collection, I just enjoy and I would prefer Godzilla being the taller, bigger monster of the two, which is why I don't really want to use this, but it's nice to have it, you know what I mean? It's nice to have, you know, it's a nice base, but I don't intend on using it that much. It also comes with the propeller in Kong's right hand, you know, symbolizing what happened in the film, where he used that propeller after he gets tangled up in that in the wreckage of that ship, right? He breaks free, you know, and he used that propeller in his hand to take down the Skullcrawler. And it also comes like with the mini chain that you can wrap around Kong's fist with a propeller in it to simulate, him having that around his hand, So that's good. The cool thing about these figures in general, is the fact that these both are CGI characters. In Kong in particular, with him being a furry monster with hair and stuff like that, they just got the fur right. As far as like the sculpt and the paint job of Kong, it's various shades of brown, whether it's light brown, dark browns, whatever. They got it perfectly right, and the hair is simulated perfectly on this figure. Once again, this is from a CGI character, but they got it right. Fur, in a lot of respects, when it comes to like vinyl and sculpting of such, it's kind of hard to do. But S Plus has pulled it off, even with practical effect monsters like King Caesar or Sanda, the Brown Gargantua. And this is another one to add on to the list. The S Plus has done a phenomenal job with the paint job on Kong's fur and the way it's simulated all over his body here. The sculpt is awesome. I just love with him just rolling upwards in defiance to either the Skullcrawler or maybe Godzilla. You never know. And his teeth is individually sculpted. The color on the mouth and the tongue is sculpted and painted really, really well. The eyes are just awesome. He just has that ferocious, just determined look that we all know that's associated with King Kong, that he would tear you limb from limb if motivated to do so. And it looks good. Once again, not much here, because they are smaller figures, but the detail is there. Trust me on that. I don't know what I was thinking waiting so long to get this guy in my collection, but I'm glad I did. And I highly recommend this piece, whether it's this one or the one with the Skullcrawler if you like the Skullcrawler. But either way, this is such a top-notch piece. The sculpt, the paint job, the way they assimilated Kong's fur all over his body, just the awesome, just muscular sculpt and the propeller and the chain and the color of the mouth and the teeth and the eyes. Such an awesome piece. And I highly recommend you go after this piece. Now, let's just shift over to his opponent next year. Yes, the King of the Monsters himself. Yes, the 2019 version of Godzilla. And between the two, even though I've been gushing over Kong for the past 10 minutes, I actually like Godzilla a little bit better. Even though I've been very vocal about Kong, ever since we found out about Godzilla vs. Kong was coming, and everybody has been, predicting that Godzilla is going to be the winner, or they're hoping for him to win, that it's going to be a cakewalk. I've been one of the minority ones that's been kind of vocal for Kong. I've not been saying that, that Kong is going to win. I take that back. I have been saying that. I'm not going to lie about that. I have been saying that. But more so, I'm trying to get my point across is that we shouldn't underestimate Kong. I admit, Kong may not be the kaiju that Godzilla is, but that doesn't mean that we should underestimate him, his abilities to fight him. That's what I'm saying. But as far as like between the two sculpts or between the two figures here, I do prefer, at least slightly, I do prefer the Godzilla one. This one is just awesome. This is just an awesome Deforeal sculpt of the King of the Monsters from the film Godzilla King of the Monsters. With the color on his body, the scales, just the skin texture, the long tail, even his pronounced dorsal plates, which was such an improvement over the 2014 design. Don't get me wrong, I like the 2014 design, but the one thing, a couple things I didn't particularly care for when it came to that design of Godzilla is the stubby elephant feet, and that the dorsal plates are not really pronounced. That's one thing about Godzilla. Godzilla, especially when it comes throughout his design over the years, which has gone through many changes from 54, 62, 68, 74, 84, 95, 2000, GMK, Final War, Shin. The one thing about Godzilla that's very, very noticeable to a lot of fans is his dorsal plates. His dorsal plates, in my opinion, is kind of like Batman's cape or Superman's cape. It's like if they're not pronounced, then it doesn't really complete the overall essence of the character itself. You see what I'm saying? That's one thing I really enjoy about this new version of Godzilla 2019 in comparison to 2014 is that the feet is more pronounced, his facial features is more pronounced, and they got more definition and more character into the dorsal plates. And what they have done here with the Deforeal is the same thing. They provided a lot more detail with the color on the dorsal plates, the shapes of the dorsal plates, which is a combination of the 54's dorsal plates, like the bottom half going like the bottom half of his body or the bottom half of his back is like the 54's. But if you get like towards the midway up his back going upwards towards the back of his neck, it kind of reminds me of the Godzilla 2000's dorsal plates. But what they have done here is awesome with the dorsal plates. How they sculpted it is just awesome. The teeth are individually sculpted in his mouth, just like Kong. The eyes are painted really well, just like Kong's. It also comes with a beam effect that you can actually take out just like this, and just have Godzilla like this, like he's roaring upwards, whatever. And it kind of looks cool with these two, roaring upwards at each other, trying to establish their dominance over the other one. But I have to say, I love this beam effect. I really do love this beam effect. It's kind of over the top, based off the figure. But this is really cool. Blue, shades of blue, sky blues, aqua blues. It's really, really nice. And you just it has a hole in Godzilla's mouth where you can firmly attach the beam effect in there. And for the week or so that I've had it, it has not come out. I don't suggest you dangle it and whatever, it may come out then. But in this position with Godzilla's head really arching more upwards, straight up, if you will, the beam effect's not going to go anywhere, especially once it's snug and tight in the hole in Godzilla's mouth. Now this little peg here on Godzilla's tail, that didn't come with the figure. That actually came with Kong. If you put Kong on top of this base, you're supposed to have this little clear peg underneath one of Kong's legs. That way he can kind of balance himself on him being perched on top of this base. But I actually used the peg for Godzilla, have him kind of leaning upwards a little bit versus him laying flat on his tail, looking straight up. This is kind of like a curve. Excuse me. It's going like in a slant, like he's aiming his beam at a slant. Even though in the film he roars straight upward, the beam goes straight upward into the sky. But I like how with this setup, I could put the peg underneath Godzilla's tail, and his beam goes in it's like a northwest direction, I guess, just slanted, going upwards that way. But either way, whether you have Kong and you want to use this peg for that, you can do that. If not, just have him sit like this, like that, and that's still fine. But for my setup for Godzilla vs. Kong here, I actually prefer, once again, with the tail being perched up a little bit, whatever. And as you can see, it looks fine. It looks perfect. So the sculpt on Godzilla, like I said, the scales on his body, just the various shades of blue-green all over his body. And, the teeth are individually sculpted well. The mouth is painted really well. The eyes, the dorsal plates, the tail going long and outwards a little bit. The color on his claws and his tail and his toenails. They've done a phenomenal job with this Deforeal. And this what makes me a fan of the Deforeals. The paint job and the detail, especially in the head sculpts, because that's really the selling point of the Deforeals anyway. It's the head sculpts to have really enlarged heads in comparison to their bodies, right? So they have to pack a lot of detail into the sculpts of their heads. And they have chosen great figures, or at least designs, that have benefited from that, like Hedra, for example, like the 84, for example. And these two are no exceptions. Once again, these are top-notch figures, and trust me, if you can go for one, I say go after the other one. That way you can have a little mini match, and emphasis on mini, on what happened between Godzilla and Kong once they throw down next year. But I highly recommend both of them, you know what I mean? Both Kong and both Godzilla. Like I said, I kind of slightly like the Godzilla a little bit more, but I still love Kong nonetheless. They're really, really awesome pieces, and I highly recommend them. Please get your hands on both of these sculpts, both of these pieces. You will not be disappointed. Yes, yes, yes. And before we go into my final thoughts of the video, let's do at least one size comparison. Let's actually bring up their 30 centimeter counterparts and see how they look in comparison to them. So let's bring up my 30 centimeter Kong 2017 based off his appearance in Kong Skull Island. And let's bring up the 30 centimeter Godzilla 2014 Rick Ruin edition. And like I said, even though it's not the same one as this one, it's still somewhat of the same design. You see what I'm saying? But you'll see in size comparison in a few seconds. So let's go with that size comparison with the Deforeal versions of Kong and Godzilla from the Monsterverse with the 30 centimeter counterparts. And let's go that size comparison right now. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. This is awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not going to drown the review in size comparisons. I think this is the only size comparison that really matters, honestly. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, this is the Deforeal size comparison with their 30 centimeter counterparts. Yes, Kong from Skull Island versus Godzilla from 2019, and the bigger version is, of course, his 2014 design from the 2014 movie. And as you can see, they look so well together. And trust me, I'm feeling y'all out there. We want a trailer from the movie. We want to see what's going to happen. We want to see something, marketing, article written about it, a magazine cover. We want to see something involving this new movie, and we've gotten nothing yet. And I feel you on that, but you know what? That's why I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here. Even if they don't feel the need to promote this film or start hyping this film up, you know what? You got me to thank for that, because I'm going to be hyping this film up on my channel. Yes, yes, yes. They may not be excited for it, but I am very excited for this rematch of Godzilla versus King Kong. We have waited 58 years for this. 58 years of a couple times they try to get this off the ground. They try to pit these two together, but this couldn't be done, but that couldn't be done. But now, through this awesome Monsterverse, we are on the cusp of this finally happening. Yes, yes, yes. And you have these figures, you can put these together and just visualize what is going to happen when the King of the Apes face off the King of the Monsters, courtesy of the Monsterverse. I can't wait. So until we get a trailer, or until we get some kind of something that the film is coming, you can watch this video, or at least put these figures together, and just hopefully that will tie you over until we do get some type of trailer. But yes, these look so great together. I'm happy I got them. Woo! You know, this is the first time I've actually put these four together. And it's just awesome. It's just awesome. Now, mind you, when we get to Godzilla vs. Kong, Kong and Godzilla are going to look somewhat different. I don't think they're going to stray away too far from the original design. Like with Godzilla, for example, the only thing they did with him is they just pronounced the dorsal plates on his back a little bit more. They gave him longer toenails and stuff like that. They pronounced more of his facial features. As far as Kong, the only thing that we have heard that is different about him, that we have heard, or at least seen, I guess, a poster of it or whatever, that he's going to have a beard. You know, but that's the only thing that we know that they have changed for like the design of Kong. I hope that they don't change too much. I hope they'll do for Kong what they did for Godzilla. They'll change some stuff, but not too much to deviate from the original design. Because I think seeing these two go at it is going to be awesome, and I can't wait. So whether it's the Deforeal or the 30 centimeters, and of course we're getting the gigantic 2019, and I hope at some point we get a gigantic Monsterverse King Kong. Hopefully we'll get that after the gigantic 2019 Godzilla comes out, but you never know. But until then, this will tie me over, and hopefully it'll tie you over too. Yes, yes, yes. So now, speaking of the Monsterverse, let's go with my final commentary portion of the video. And let's talk about the Monsterverse right now. Once again, great figures. I love them. I highly recommend you go after every single one of these pieces. You will not be disappointed. So let's go with the final commentary portion of the video, talking about the Monsterverse, the awesome Monsterverse right now. Okay, folks, I'm back with my final thoughts of the X Plus Deforeal Kong Skull Island Standard Edition figure, as well as the Standard Edition Deforeal figure of Godzilla 2019, based off his appearance in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Once again, these two are such solid figures. Yes, they are. Once again, just because they're Deforeals, just because they're smaller figures other than your 30s or your Sakai's or your Gigantics, doesn't mean that they're not warranted enough to have an investment put into them. You know what I mean? They're solid figures. The detail is there. The sculpts are really cool. Once again, the amount of detail and craftsmanship and just the level of just awesomeness that's in these two figures, as well as the other Deforeals, is really amazing. I highly recommend you go after these two pieces, especially if you're a fan of this version of Kong and this version of Godzilla from the Monsterverse. And speaking of the Monsterverse, let's talk about the Monsterverse just for a few minutes before I get up out of here. Once again, I make no bones about the fact that I absolutely love the Monsterverse. I really do love the Monsterverse. And when you think about the history of Godzilla throughout the years, you know, it started in 1954, obviously, and they had, you know, a really good crop of films during that era, from 1954 to 1975. Then Godzilla went away for like 9 years. You know, basically they exhausted all the possibilities, and they took Godzilla in so many different characterizations and character arcs and paths and roles and all that good stuff in the Showa series. They done all they can do by the time 1975 came through, you know. So Godzilla went away for like 9 years, and they came back in 1984, and then we got the Great Heisei series, and then that series was kind of cut short because they wanted to make way for the 1998 Godzilla. Kind of makes you wonder if Toho would have saw how that film would have turned out. Would they have continued the Heisei series? More than likely, they probably would have. But then 1998 came through, and then Toho decided to bring back Godzilla again. Then we got the Millennium series. Then Godzilla went away after Final Wars, going on 10 years. And then we got our very first film from the Monsterverse, Godzilla 2014. And if you would have told me back in 2004 after Final Wars that Godzilla was going to come back, not from Toho, but from an American studio, and they were going to produce a good crop of films that not only are awesome, great spectacle, great visual effects, also great actors coming into the mix, and they were overall good films that could probably compare to some of the classic ones, I would never believed you. But here we are today, 2019, and here we are basically, 5 years in, and we have gotten three awesome films, three amazing films: Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, and of course Godzilla King of the Monsters. And also if you would have told me back then that not only will this new series bring back Godzilla, but it will also bring back Kong, it will also bring back King Ghidorah, Rodan, and Mothra, and it will set a collision course for a rematch between Godzilla and Kong later on down the road, I still wouldn't believe you. But here we are. Reality is reality, and this is what it is today. And the Monsterverse is awesome. The Monsterverse is really, really awesome, and it's really a really fun series. I look at these series of films like I look at the Gamera Heisei film trilogy. To me, each film got better as they went along. You know, Gamera Guardian Universe was awesome, but I think Gamera 2 is better. Then Gamera 3 came along, and I think that film is somewhat better than Gamera 2. And I look at the Monsterverse the same way. Like, I like Godzilla 2014. I absolutely enjoyed Kong Skull Island. And I really, really love Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'm looking forward to what's in store for us with Godzilla vs. Kong in the next few months. But once again, this series of film, the Monsterverse, is really, really awesome. And the best thing about the Monsterverse to me that I love so much is that they're made by people and filmmakers and producers and writers and all that good stuff that are actually fans of the classic films. They are actually fans of the older Godzilla films. And that really speaks to me as a Godzilla fan that has stuck by with this character for so many different years. That really speaks to me, and that's what has made me a great supporter of the Monsterverse. They didn't come into it like a way to make money, like, okay, Godzilla's a popular character, I'm going to do a half, job to it, and, and not believe in the project. But you have great, great filmmakers like Michael Dougherty, Gareth Edwards, and of course the guy who directed Kong Skull Island, his name escapes me at the moment. But you have all these different people that embrace the mythology, that embrace why we love Godzilla and Kong and all these fantastic creatures. They embraced why we love these monsters and why we love this genre. They embraced it, they incorporated it into their films, especially in Godzilla King of the Monsters, even though there are references and Easter eggs all over that film. But you have some Easter eggs and homages that are an integral part of the story, like Dr. Serizawa. His name is taken from the Toho Dr. Serizawa, or Monster Zero given to King Ghidorah and King of the Monsters. That's, of course, it's a reference to Monster Zero, but it's not just an Easter egg, it's an integral part of the story, like I said. So when you look at the Monsterverse as a whole, to me, it's a great, great series of films. It really is. And it makes me really proud to be a Godzilla fan. This is a fun time to be a Godzilla fan or a King Kong fan. Because you have these great films, these great awesome films that now they're all on Blu-ray, they're all on high definition format, they're now on home video, so now you can pop them in anytime you want to and have just a great time with this awesome series of films. And I'm looking forward to see, like I said, what's going to happen with Godzilla vs. Kong. I've been hearing off and on rumors that maybe they will continue the Monsterverse, maybe they won't, whatever. But let's just look at it from both sides of the equation. If they end the Monsterverse with Godzilla vs. Kong, as long as they give us like a really big send-off, like an over-the-top send-off with all these different monsters, and as long as we get a great battle between Godzilla and Kong, I would have no problem if they were to end it. You know what I mean? Because I'm fine with short and concise movie franchises like the Gamera Heisei film trilogy. You know what I'm saying? There's only 3 films, but they were able to do so much within those 3 films that once it ended with Gamera 3, I really felt satisfied. I didn't feel like, okay, they should have continued it, blah, blah, blah. They told a great story within those 3 films that I was fine on how they ended it. And so if they do the same thing with the Monsterverse and they end it with Godzilla vs. Kong, as long as we get a great end result in the film, I'm perfectly fine with that. On the other side of the coin, if they were to continue the Monsterverse, if Godzilla vs. Kong ends up making more money than King of the Monsters, then Skull Island, then 2014, and they decide to continue it, I'm on board with that too. Because then we have a great situation, because you know Toho at some point is going to start making Godzilla films. And I said this many times before, we'll be in a situation where we can get 2 different Godzillas from 2 different companies pretty much at the same time. Like I mentioned before, it's like getting the Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale Batman alongside the Ben Affleck Batman. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a win-win for Godzilla fans. It really is a win-win for Godzilla fans. And the Monsterverse is really, we have a lot to owe to the Monsterverse for making that happen. You know what I'm saying? Without the Monsterverse, Godzilla would not have this sort of just recharge resurgence that he is going through right now. With new fans coming into the hobby, it creates more awareness for the older films. And trust me, like I said, it's the passion from these filmmakers that is making the Monsterverse an awesome entity. Think about it. Would these A-list actors be drawn to the Monsterverse? Would they have participated in the Monsterverse if the filmmakers didn't have a proper vision? You have great actors like Bryan Cranston, Ken Watanabe, Sally Hawkins, Samuel L. Jackson, Brie Larson, Corey Hawkins, John Goodman, who else? Just a couple other people. Just great actors, A-list actors, not B-list level actors, but great actors that have come from these blockbuster films. And they say, you know what? I want to be a part of that. They didn't have to do it, you know what I mean? But they obviously saw something in the Monsterverse, and they saw something in the vision of the filmmakers that wanted them to be a part of this awesome franchise. I'm sure money played into it too, but also at the same time, it's not like they're not hurting for work as far as the actors. They could have chose to be anything else, but they did choose to be in these monster films, which does help make the Monsterverse an even bigger entity than what it is. But aside from that, the filmmakers and it's their vision for these films is awesome. I'm fully behind it. And I think the original filmmakers for Godzilla, you know, Tanaka, Honda, Ifukube, Nakajima, and all the great people that brought the Showa series to us, you know what I'm saying? I hope they're proud of what they have seen their most awesome icons and properties have gone on to become. And we have the Monsterverse to thank for that. So once again, please go after these figures, and please go after the Monsterverse films, Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, and of course Godzilla King of the Monsters. And I'm so hyped up for Godzilla vs. Kong in the next few months. And people out there that's kind of fretting and kind of panicking that we have not gotten any trailer yet, trust me, let's be patient. The time will come. In the meantime, you know what? We can still celebrate the Monsterverse. We can still celebrate these 3 films in preparation for Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong. You know what I'm saying? Let's not get all bent out of shape because we have not gotten anything yet. Far as I know, they're still pushing forward with the March date for the film. So until Legendary Pictures makes a formal announcement that they're canceling the film, they're pushing it back, I don't think we have anything to worry about. The lack of a trailer, yes, it is somewhat concerning, but it's not as concerning that some folks may try to make it seem like it is. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, there's so much to love about the Monsterverse, and so much that we have already gotten the experience, and we can still go back and experience in preparation for the new film. So trust me, don't panic. It's still coming. We just got to be a little bit more patient and just let some more time develop. But trust me, I think once the marketing comes in, I think we're in for a real treat. But once again, these figures are awesome. Please get your hands on these figures. You will not be disappointed. Trust me when I say that. Alright, so that pretty much concludes my review. My double figure review of the X Plus Deforeal Standard Edition figures of Kong Skull Island, based off his appearance in Kong Skull Island. And of course, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Yes. Godzilla 2019, based off his appearance in the most recent Godzilla film from the Monsterverse, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Yes. You have any questions, holler me down in the comment section. Or hit me up on Facebook via Leslie P. Chambers. We definitely go from there. Yes, once again, great figures. Wow, seeing these 4 together, or seeing these 2 monsters together, once again, this really get me super hyped for the new film. I hope everybody's getting hyped out there too. Once again, I know the lack of trailer is kind of like concerning amongst a lot of us Godzilla fans, but trust me, I'm not worried about it too much. You know what I mean? I know it's still coming, so whenever it does drop, I'm sure it'll be awesome. So I'm just exercising some patience, and I'm highly advocating for everybody else to do the same. Trust me, good things come to those who wait. I think we're in for some great things with this awesome movie and with the continuation of the Monsterverse, where I think will continue after Godzilla vs. Kong, but only time will tell with that. Now, as far as the future, as far as like my X Plus figures in relation to the Deforeal, I do have a few Deforeals coming. Like I mentioned before, I'm picking and choosing what I want to have in my collection as far as Deforeals. I'm not going after every single one of them, but there are a few that I have already have in my collection. There are a few that are coming that I'm definitely going to add to my collection. I think in December, I'm getting the Deforeal Destroyer. That's going to be awesome. Can't wait for that. Come January, I'm getting the Godzilla 1955 set, the Rick set of Godzilla 1955 and Anguirus 1955, based off their appearance in Godzilla Raids Again. I'm also getting the Monsterverse King Ghidorah 2019 Deforeal. Can't wait for him. And I'm also getting, it has not come up for pre-order yet, I'm getting the Godzilla 2000 Deforeal, and I'm looking so forward to that one. I'm not really feeling the Orga at this moment in time, but Godzilla 2000, I am definitely adding to my collection. Yes, yes, yes. And speaking of Deforeal, if you want to know what else is coming as far as like reviews on my channel when it comes to the Deforeals, stay tuned to the very end of this video and you will definitely see what I have coming up real soon. Maybe not next, but real soon, as relates to an X Plus Deforeal figure review, and I hope you enjoy that figure review as well. But in the meantime, get these figures. You will not be disappointed with the Deforeal X Plus Standard Edition of Kong from Kong Skull Island and Godzilla from Godzilla King of the Monsters. Get these figures, you will not be disappointed. Trust me when I say that. Yes, yes, yes. And once again, stay tuned for the end of the video to see what is coming up soon on Lizard Chambers Kaiju Reviews. And thank you so much for being a supporter on Lizard Chambers Kaiju Reviews. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And once again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see y'all again on next figure move review. All right? Y'all take it easy.